Have you ever opened the fridge after a long day, already tasting the meal you've been dreaming about, only to find an empty container sitting there? Now imagine that happening over and over and over again. We tried talking. We tried being understanding. Nothing worked. So eventually we found a revenge so perfectly legal and so hilariously effective that our food thief never stole another bite. If you've ever dealt with a roommate, coworker, or family member who thought your food was somehow their food, you're going to love this story. Hit that like button, subscribe for more unbelievable revenge stories, and let's jump into one of the funniest cases of instant karma you'll ever hear. This happened over 15 years ago, back when I was in college. The world was still recovering from the financial crisis of 2008. Jobs were scarce, prices kept climbing, and for broke college students like us, every dollar mattered. We weren't living in luxury. We were surviving. 4 of us shared a tiny rented apartment near campus. Calling it cozy would have been generous. The walls were thin. The kitchen was barely big enough for 2 people. The refrigerator looked ancient, but it was home. Every weekend I'd visit my grandmother. Before I left, she'd insist on packing containers full of homemade food. Chicken, roasted potatoes, fresh cake. Sometimes she'd even slip a little money into my pocket when she thought I wasn't looking. Those meals weren't just food. They were comfort. They were love. And honestly, they often kept me going through the week. The problem started gradually. I'd come home after evening classes exhausted. I'd already be imagining heating up Grandma's chicken. I'd open the fridge, and the container would be half empty, or completely gone. At first I thought I had simply forgotten eating it. Then another roommate complained. My cake disappeared. A few days later, my chicken wings are missing. Then another. Who ate my leftovers? It didn't take long before we all realized the same thing was happening. Someone was helping themselves to everyone else's food. Our suspicion quickly landed on one roommate. Let's call him H. Now here's the thing. H wasn't evil. He wasn't violent. He wasn't even particularly mean. He was just unbelievably selfish, while somehow convincing himself he wasn't doing anything wrong. He also happened to be the poorest among us. And honestly, we understood. We knew money was tight. None of us wanted him going hungry. So instead of accusing him or kicking him out immediately, we decided to have an honest conversation. One evening, we all sat down in the living room. H, are you eating our food? He hesitated, then shrugged. Yeah. No apology. No embarrassment. Just, yeah. One roommate sighed. Look, if you're hungry, just ask. I nodded. We're serious. If you need something, we'll share. But don't just take it. You have no idea how awful it feels coming home after 10 hours of classes expecting dinner, only to realize someone already ate it. He looked genuinely confused. I didn't think it mattered. That sentence, I didn't think it mattered, still annoys me today. We explained it again. Carefully, patiently. Ask first. We'll almost always say yes. Just don't steal. He nodded. We thought the problem was solved. It wasn't. If anything, it got worse. And we noticed a pattern. Healthy salad? Untouched. Plain rice? Still there. But if someone bought chocolate, gone. Chicken wings? Half missing. Cake? Vanished overnight. Anything expensive. Anything delicious. Anything that actually made surviving college a little easier. H couldn't resist. Weeks passed. Every conversation ended exactly the same way. H stopped taking our food. Okay. Then he'd do it again. Eventually, none of us were even angry anymore. We were exhausted. We started hiding food inside pots, inside vegetable bags, behind milk cartons. Nothing worked. H always found it. Then one afternoon something unexpected happened. One roommate walked into the apartment holding a grocery flyer. You guys have to see this. On the front page was a brand supermarket lights. Perfect. We bought one, then picked up a roll of transparent plastic wrap. Just in case. Back at the apartment we opened the bucket. Honestly, the reviews weren't lying. They were delicious. We each ate a small handful. Very small. None of us wanted to become victims of our own plan. Then we carefully smoothed the surface so it looked untouched. I placed the bucket inside my shelf in the kitchen. Loud enough for everyone to hear, especially H. I announced, "Whatever you do, don't touch my gummy bears." That sentence was bait. We all knew it, because H had one predictable weakness. If someone specifically told him not to eat something, that became the only thing he wanted. Then, we waited. Hours passed. We watched TV, pretended to study. Every little sound from the kitchen made us glance toward the door. Then, we heard it, the cupboard opening.
Plastic lid.
Tiny rustling noises. Silence. A few minutes later, one roommate casually wandered into the kitchen. He came back holding the empty bucket. Every single gummy bear gone. None of us could believe it. 1/2 kilogram. Destroyed. In one sitting. Then, about 20 minutes later, we heard footsteps. Fast ones. H burst from his room looking absolutely terrified. His face had gone pale. His eyes were wide. Without saying a word, he sprinted toward the bathroom. But earlier, we'd quietly lifted the toilet seat, stretched clear plastic wrap tightly across the bowl, then lowered the seat back down. Unless you looked carefully, you'd never notice. The bathroom door slammed. A split second of silence. Then, chaos. There are some sounds that stay with you forever. That afternoon produced several, followed almost immediately by shouting. Very loud shouting. H exploded out of the bathroom. He looked horrified, embarrassed, absolutely furious. He started screaming at us. "You guys are psychopaths. What is wrong with you? You set me up." One roommate calmly held up the empty gummy bucket. "You mean the gummy bears I specifically told you not to touch?" Silence. Then more shouting. "I'm moving out." Another roommate shrugged. "Okay." I simply replied, "You're welcome to." For the first time since we'd moved in together, H actually had nothing to say, because deep down, he knew exactly why this had happened. No one forced him to steal. No one forced him to eat nearly a pound of candy. No one even told him the gummy bears were for sharing. His own greed had done all the work. For the next several days, the apartment was unusually quiet.
Ash barely spoke.
Whenever he walked into the kitchen, he avoided eye contact. Something had finally clicked. Not because of another conversation. Not because of another warning. Because, for the first time, there were actual consequences attached to his actions. The funniest part? He never moved out. Despite all the dramatic threats, he stayed. And from that day forward, not a single piece of food ever disappeared again. No missing cake.
No stolen chicken. No mysteriously empty leftovers.
The fridge became peaceful once more. Sometimes justice doesn't arrive through arguments. Sometimes, it arrives disguised as sugar-free gummy bears. Looking back, maybe it wasn't the most mature solution. But after weeks of patience, countless conversations, and endless stolen meals, it finally taught a lesson that words never could. Respecting other people's property isn't complicated, and sometimes karma has a very unusual sense of humor. If you enjoyed this hilarious revenge story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more unbelievable Reddit revenge tales. And tell us in the comments, what would you have done if someone kept stealing your food? We'd love to read your answers. Until next time, thanks for watching.